Hi guys! I'm bored, and I think a lot of other people are bored too, and when I'm bored I like to cook. So I figured I would do something fun and do a little cooking class for you guys. A lot of you follow my posts on Facebook and we've seen that we've been doing a lot of meatless meals at my house. And I thought it might be fun to do some meatless recipes for you guys for a couple of reasons. One, because it's hard to get meat now. For whatever reason, the grocery stores are out of like everything. And then the other reason is I noticed that in the grocery stores, something that is widely available is a lot of the vegan and meatless products. And I just think people have never tried them or they're afraid to try them. So here's something you could do to be adventurous. We went meatless for health reasons because it's just a healthier way to eat. And I also, someone told me on one of the podcasts that I listened to, they said that if every family in America did a meatless day, 1 day a week, it cuts down that family's carbon footprint, the equivalent of them driving from New York City to Los Angeles. So it's a great way to add it into your routine or just try something new and adventurous. So today we're going to make meatless meatballs. So we can do meatless spaghetti and meatballs. It's an easy one, it's a family favorite, it's classic, so here we go. Okay, so our meat substitute that we're using, and you guys can see this, is called texturized vegetable protein. It's made by Bob's Red Mill. There's probably other brands. This is just the one that I'm familiar with. And it's actually like dried soy. It's super inexpensive. It was $3.99 at Ocean State Job Lot for this big old bag. And it comes out a really nice texture, just like ground beef. And it's high in protein. It has 13 grams of protein per serving, which is fantastic. I think I looked it up in ground beef for like 4 ounces. A 4-ounce serving of ground beef is roughly like 16 to 20 grams of protein. So it's a little bit less, but it still has a lot of protein in it. All right, I'm just going to angle this down so you guys can actually see what I'm doing here a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to take 1 cup of the dried texturized protein. It kind of honestly looks like cereal or breadcrumbs. And I'm going to put it in a bowl, and you're going to combine that with 1 cup of hot boiling water. I already boiled this to make it easier. So you're just going to pour it in, and it kind of just like reabsorbs it. So you're going to let that sit for a couple of minutes. Let me just grab a spoon here. All right, so texturized vegetable protein, you're just going to let it like reabsorb. It takes a couple of minutes. While you're doing that, I'm going to add in a scoop of tomato paste. Make our Italian meatballs here. I also have onions. This is like 1 medium onion that I chopped up and sauteed with olive oil on the stove until it got kind of translucent. So I'm going to throw that in there. I have 1 finely shredded carrot. You don't have to add this. I just like to add it because it's extra vegetables. You can hide it in there. The kids will never even know. And mix this all up in our big bowl here. All right, now you can leave it just like this, or if you want to, you can't even see my face while I'm talking here. If you want to, you can add a couple of things. I add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, or as we call it, wash your sister sauce. It's not vegan or vegetarian. It does have anchovies in it, but I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian. I do occasionally eat meat, so I'm okay with using this. It gives it kind of a meaty flavor for me. If you don't want to use it, it's okay to leave it out. So I usually use about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, or wash your sister sauce, as Guy Fieri would say. The other thing that I like to add is called liquid smoke. Again, it's totally optional. You don't have to add it. It gives it kind of a smoky, meaty flavor. If you've never used this before, please only use a little bit. It is very strong. The minute you open it, you're going to be able to smell it. It smells like a barbecue, or like you burned down your house. I literally add like the tiniest little capful into this whole thing. That's it. And the whole house now smells like a barbecue. The other option that I have for you guys is I use eggs. We have chickens. I eat eggs, so I'm going to add 2 egg whites. I'm going to take the yolks out. If you want to do a vegan version of it, you can use an egg substitute. This is a Bob's Red Mill egg replacement, and it's a powder that you mix with water. and you can do the equivalent of 2 eggs of that in if you want to do a completely vegan version. So I'm going to add my 2 egg whites here. You guys can even see what I'm doing. It's a weird camera angle. Okay, so got my, down here so you guys can see, I got my 2 egg whites. I'm gonna add that in, and I add about a cup of breadcrumbs. So it's basically just like making meatloaf, only you're using the TVP instead of the ground beef. I'm gonna mix it up. If it seems like it's too watery, you can always add a little bit more breadcrumbs to it. If it seems like it's too dry, you can add more of the tomato paste or a little bit more water. Usually it ends up being a little bit too wet, so I'm going to add a little bit more breadcrumbs to mine, just to make it easier to make it into a meatball. Alright, there we go. Now with my hands, I'm just going to take a baking dish. I'm using a stoneware baking dish because that happens to be the one I have, but you can use a regular baking dish. I already coated this. You're going to want to coat it with a little bit of like olive oil or coconut oil because these don't have a lot of fat in them, so they tend to stick. So you're just going to take it just like you would a normal meatball, and you're going to form them into balls, and you're going to put them on in the pan. You're going to bake these in the oven at 400 degrees for about a half an hour until they get nice and firm. You can kind of flip them halfway through so that they brown nice on both sides. And then you just take them out, and we'll get to that part after. Alright guys, while our meatballs are cooking, let's talk about pasta. So since if you're doing meatless, you want to make sure that you're getting enough protein. So like I said, the TVP has a lot of protein in it. The other thing that you can do to add a plant-based protein to the meal, to make it a little bit higher in protein, is to pick a pasta that has a protein in it. So this is by Barilla, and it's Protein Plus, and it's made with pea protein. So this one has, let's see, 10 grams of protein per serving. So if I'm adding the 10 grams per serving of this and the 13 from the meatballs, I'm getting 23 grams of protein in one meal. So for me, I try to get about 50 grams of protein just for my age and my gender and my fitness level. That is the recommended amount. Obviously, Mike needs more protein, so he tries to get more in the day. So you just want to figure out how much protein is recommended for your age, your gender, how much like working out you do. And then just work it in using things like protein pasta. The other one that Mike really likes is this edamame pasta. You can get this from Aldi's. As you can see, this one has 24 grams of protein in it. When you're working with different kinds of pasta, just always read the directions. Don't assume that all of them are like regular pasta in the cooking time, because like this one is similar. I think it's like 8 or 9 minutes in boiling water. This one literally cooks in boiling water in like 2 minutes. And if you overcook it, it gets really mushy and gross. So just be aware when you're using different pastas to check the cooking time on the different pastas. So for tonight's meal, I am going to use the Barilla Protein Plus pasta because it tastes the most similar to a regular pasta, and the kids really like it, and they don't seem to know the difference, and they're getting extra protein. So that's my little 2 cents on pasta. All right, guys, here we go. These are our meatless, plant-based meatballs, our protein pasta, and some plain spaghetti sauce that I got at Aldi's. So altogether, the pasta box was about $2.50 for the whole box. I actually only cooked half because that's about what we eat. The TVP was $3.99 for the whole container. The portion I used comes out to about $1.25. And the pasta sauce was $1 at Aldi's as well. So altogether, this meal cost me a total of less than $5 to feed my entire family. It's packed with protein, it's packed with veggies, and it's a family favorite. So I hope you guys are adventurous enough to try some meatless meals. There's some really great options out there. It is great for your cholesterol levels. They're relatively low in fat, and it's great for the environment. So check out some more. If you want to comment below and let me know if there's any meals that you guys love as a family that you'd like to see me try a meatless version of. I'll read through them and I'll pick my next one. Thanks, guys. Bye.